Okay.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our live. I'm so excited. We're laughing because I was just having some intense Wi-Fi problems, but we have it figured out, so it's all good. I'm on a hotspot now. We don't have to worry about it anymore. Oh, goodness gracious. Yes, welcome, guys. So excited to talk to you. I'm so happy to have you on this channel. Today we are joined with Danai, right?
Danai. Hi.
Okay.
It's so nice to be here. I'm so excited.
Today we are joined with Danai, right?
Danai.
Can you hear that? Okay, so can you close the window that you have open?
I literally just closed it. I was like, why is it doing that?
That's hilarious. Oh, it happens all the time. It happens all the time. Okay, so essentially today we're just going to be talking about Chinese, the language, we're talking about the culture, travel, but first I need to just fangirl a little bit because Danai has the coolest Instagram page for learning Chinese. And guys, like I have to do this, okay? Because I'm fangirling. Listen. Her Instagram page is absolutely unreal. Daily tips, like motivation, like no other. You already have like over 10,000 followers just because you're studying Chinese. Like that's amazing. But I think it would be amazing. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself, like who you are.
It's so weird because I want to fangirl right back at you, but I'm just like, wait, I'll wait for Jen to finish talking. No, so hi, my name is Danai, and I've got this study account, this Chinese study account on Instagram, which I started about a year and a half ago now, probably just under a year and a half ago. And yeah, I started it because I was like trying to look for Chinese motivation to force myself to study every day. And I was like, well, I'll do the like 365 day challenge that I see on Instagram a lot. And I was like, I'll just do this with Chinese. So I have to study every day for a year and I have to post every day what my progress is. And then initially I just started it for myself. I was like, it'll be good to have something to like look back on and you know, see my growth or see what I do and see how differently I study over the year. And then it started, like I started getting loads of followers and meeting people like you and you know, meeting teachers and finding different ways of studying and stuff. So like once the year was over, I had initially planned to just delete my account and, you know, put an end to it. But then I was like, no, you know, I've met so many people, I'll just keep it up. And yeah, now we're here.
I'm so glad you kept your account because honestly, that is the place to go for motivation, guys. You need to follow her. I left the link to her Instagram inside of the description of this video. So go and check her out, okay? Make sure you follow her and get your daily motivation.
Thank you so much. But no, I also want to like just give you a shout out on your own channel right back because I've been following you for a while. And also like, I'm so glad that I have my account just for the sake of like meeting you as well, because honestly, like I've met so many people who are studying Chinese and stuff, but I'd never seen someone who was so engaged in Chinese culture. And like, you know, you have like all your Chinese accounts, you would making your own Chinese song. You've been to China so many times. You're so engaged in Chinese culture and like the community where you are, which is so cool to me because obviously neither of us is in China. And like a lot of the issues that I have with learning Chinese come down to not being able to, you know, meet Chinese speakers or like my environment is basically so English speaking that it was so cool to me to see you do everything like online and in person that was so, yeah, basically engaging in Chinese culture. So I was like, oh, wow, this is such a cool account, such a cool person. So.
Oh my God. I honestly feel like this community of the people who are learning Chinese and like the Chinese people who are also interested in like the Western culture, this kind of community that we've found is just incredible because there's so many people that are just like the pioneers. Like there's not many people who are interested in Chinese culture and learning the language even right now, right? Like I get chills every time I think about this, but it's absolutely nuts. Like we get to be one of like some of the first people who are out here really doing our best to connect to these cultures. And we're doing so by learning the language and finding out more about the culture and sharing it with people online, which is something that people before never had the opportunity to do. So I feel so grateful that like there are these platforms like Instagram where we can share progress, right? Or do these challenges and really push ourselves in one way. Or there's the way I guess I do it, which is mostly on YouTube, right? And making videos. And even though it can be hard for us sometimes, right, for motivation ourselves, that's where meeting other people just makes it so nice because it is motivating. I quickly wanted to shout out some people inside of the chat already because it's so nice to see some people. I know that JC is here. So hello, JC. Good to see you. Theodora, good to see you. Thank you for joining us here. Hang is here. Yes, that's how you say your name. So let's go with that. Thank you. Morning. This is from Listen Close. He just says good morning. Good morning. Autumn. Hello, Autumn. 早上好. And hello, hello, hello. I'm just going through because I just want to make sure I can get everybody on the screen here. Hello, hello. Virtual hugs. I love that. Oh my goodness. And I also want to let you guys know too that we want to answer your guys' question as well. So if you guys ever have any questions throughout this live stream, please don't hesitate to ask. We really love, we want to talk to you guys. We want to answer your questions. So we'll do our best to answer as many people as possible as we go through this. And also another thing is that there's a 10-second delay between us and you. So we see your comments about 10 seconds later. So I just wanted to let you know we're not ignoring you.
We're not just being slow.
Yeah, it's just slow. So that is amazing. And then there's a few other people here. Hey, it's Nikki is from Greece. Cool. Hello. Hi, Nikki.
Yeah.
And we have Spike Chen. Hello. Welcome. Okay. Ooh, actually, we already have our first question. Do you want to answer it?
Wait, because I'm actually not getting the questions, so you have to bring it up for me.
I'll bring it up. No problem.
Okay.
So,
how you say HSK1, what would I be able to say? Ooh, HSK1, I feel like, is both not that useful and useful in that it's the 100 most used words and the most useful words that you can have in Chinese. So if you want to start with Chinese, just wanting to know the first 100 words that you would need, HSK1, it's got it down, and you will find those words so many times over again and again in every level in different ways. So, how will be used in so many other ways throughout the other levels. So obviously that's why you learn it as a first level, one of your first 100 words in Chinese. But the downside is that there's only 100 words and you can't actually say that much with them. You can probably say, hi, how are you? Have a very basic conversation, ask what price something is. But in terms of what you might understand in responses, not that useful because people will obviously branch out from those 100 words. The HSK system generally, I feel like, is both good and bad. I mean, they're changing it, I think, this year to make it from 6 levels to 9 levels. So it's going to be a lot more complicated. And I think the first level, which is now, 100 words, I think it's going to be 300 words. I think I'm right in saying that. But basically, it's useful in terms of trying to see your progress and trying to have I guess a path to follow. That's what I like about it. But at the same time, being able to complete certain levels and knowing all the vocab in a certain level doesn't necessarily mean that you're able to speak them or know how to use them or know how somebody replies, how someone's using them in replies. So I would say it's a good place to start, but definitely don't think that, if you've passed HSK1, you're you've got the basics down and you're good to go to China. It's harder than that.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of agree with you too. So from my experience, I started learning Chinese when I was in university and I learned for 8 months. And in that 8 months, I was able to get to a bit above an HSK2, I would say. Around there or something like that. And when I got to China, it was still very beginner and stuff. So HSK1, I don't know if I would recommend taking the test at HSK1, maybe wait until you're a little bit higher because it's easier to get a little bit higher. It's hard to once you get to 4, then maybe take 4 and then 5 and then 6 and whatever. But 1, 2, 3, I don't know, maybe just wait until you get to 3. I don't know. Maybe that's bad advice. I don't know. I haven't taken the HSK test, so don't listen. You've taken the HSK test, right?
I took HSK 1 and 2, which I took them, but I completely agree. They're not that useful to have. They are, the levels double pretty much in the content that you learn. So HSK 1 and 2, they're pretty much the same amount of content that you need to learn for them. But then HSK 3 is 300 characters. HSK 4 is 600 new characters. And then 5 and 6 takes so long to pass and to, learn everything because there's so much content. So in terms of you know, proving what level in Chinese you are. If you say I'm HSK1, it's not really comparable to like the amount of content that you're learning in HSK5. So yeah, in terms of like trying to pay and pass a certificate that's useful for you, I would definitely say wait a bit, wait until like 3 if you really want one, but then 4 is like where it really becomes useful for like job or like whatever you want to do with your Chinese certificate. Yeah, I would say like it's the basic that you need for like where it comes in useful, basically.
Totally. And also like, so we were talking that the levels might change. So it is kind of interesting to see, like, we don't know how it's going to look like, or we don't know what's going to be the equivalent like of HSK4 now. What will it be? And we actually have a question from Jack here. And he says, do you know how the HSK system is changing? And no.
I spoke to my Chinese teacher, my former Chinese teacher, who has loads of friends in China in the I guess education department, and they are all working on this, but even she wasn't like super clear on how it's going to change. She said that it is going to incorporate more translation, which isn't really one of the things that's tested now on HSK. Right now in HSK, you get tested on reading, you get tested on writing and listening. There's no speaking. If you want to do a speaking exam, you have to do the HSKK. But yeah, with the new one, I think there's going to be a section which is translation, which I think is good. I think you need that. And then, and yeah, they're going to add more levels. And as far as I can tell, more content, because, you know, it's not going to be a matter of splitting 5 and 6 into more levels. It's just going to be like adding content. I think that's what that's what she said she's been told. So. Yeah. But like I said, like nothing's come out officially, and so it's really hard to know.
It is hard to know, and oh my goodness. So Jack, you're asking us a question, and then you're telling us the answer. You're tricking us. I'm like, Jack, come on, man.
You know, I'm just like, well, I'm glad that we kind of said the same things, because it would be really embarrassing if we didn't.
That's hilarious. I'm like, I have no idea. I'm gonna let Danai take this, and then I'm gonna say your name wrong. I'm so sorry.
Don't worry, we can go for it. I pretty much answer to everything now.
Oh, he's saying, I was asking, do you know about this? Well, now Jack.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I've heard. But like I said, like nothing's come out on the HSK website or anything, and we're all just kind of like. And that was like another problem I had last year when I was just like, when I was hoping to take the HSK4, and I was like, and obviously I couldn't anymore because of COVID. So that's what we postponed. But like, that was one of the questions that I was, you know, weighing up when I was thinking about sitting it, was whether it's worthwhile taking the HSK4 exam now, if it's just going to change and be an old exam later on. But seeing how long it's been dragging out, I think whenever COVID allows, I will take the exam. But
okay, that makes sense. Same with me. I didn't end up taking the HSK test because I was planning on doing it in like October, but I didn't get to because everything was closed. And I spent the entire summer because I was like, COVID started, so I'm just going to really study hard. So I was like spending so much time studying for HSK5 because that's a hard one. That was challenging for me, you know? So like I was like studying all the time. And then, yeah, then I didn't end up taking it, and I ended up just taking a Chinese university class again instead. Anyway, we have another question. I love how we're just answering questions. Like we had some plans about what we wanted to say.
We did our own questions, but we'll go with yours.
This is too much fun. This is too much fun answering questions from you guys. So greetings from the US. Big fan of you guys. Hello, Sam. Welcome. What are your goals for learning Chinese, and do you plan to live or work in China? This is a really good question.
This is also questions that I wanted to ask you, so I'm so glad that someone asked them.
Oh my God. Okay, then I'll go right into it. Okay. So my goal for learning Chinese is I want to be able to speak fluently. And that's been my goal since like my first year learning. I made that choice, and I'm like, I want to be fluent. So of course, like for me, my learning environment is really important, probably for a lot of people, right? So when you go to China, it's obviously a lot easier to learn how to speak Chinese. It's all around you, right? So for me, living in China is going to be a big part of that. Now, I don't want to give away too much. Do I plan to live or work in China? Like, yeah, I do. But I'm going to be making a video soon that has updates on my future. So I'll just wait to probably early February. You guys will be hearing from that from me. But that's kind of my little update. The answer is yes, but when? I'll keep you updated. How's that?
So mysterious.
I'm like, basically watch my future videos. This is me promoting myself. Basically.
You're like just plugging your
plugging my future videos that I haven't even made yet. Well,
I mean, like now you have to make them so.
I will. I promise. I promise I will. They're coming, but it might be a while. It's a complicated process for me personally because of like where I am with university. So I just graduated, but technically I'm not graduated until June and stuff like that. So there's a lot of like things happening that is like complicated. So I'll keep you guys all updated. I promise you on that. But how about you? What are your goals for learning Chinese? Because you're learning all the time. I'm actually curious. Like, what is your end goal?
My end goal is similar to yours in that it's fluency. I definitely at some point in the future want to complete all the HSK 6 levels, but even beyond that, I want to get better because I know a few people who have got to HSK 6 and they're still like, I'm not, native level fluent or anything. So I want to get to fluency. I would love at some point to be able to learn Shanghainese because my aunt is from Shanghai and she speaks Shanghainese, and that's like if I chat to her via video on WeChat, then like she'll like occasionally just speak to her family members in Shanghainese, and I'll just be like, I wish I could understand you. The only one time I've been to China was, like I was telling you earlier, in 2012, and it was actually my birthday when I was in China, and my whole Chinese family took me out for this like big dinner and everything with a cake, and like it was so nice, but like none of them had met me before except for my aunt, so they all came out and they were all like going through this whole evening and like paying for this whole like all the food and stuff and like all trying their best to speak to me in Chinese and stuff in English. And that was like when I was like, I really should make the effort to be able to speak Chinese to a level where I can speak with them. But then also like once I realized, they don't speak Mandarin. Well, I mean, they do, but like between themselves, they speak Shanghainese. I was like, I really want to be able to speak Shanghainese with them. Even if it's not like to my Mandarin level, I want to learn Shanghainese. Cantonese as well at some point because it's just such a pretty language.
Yeah.
So pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I love it so much. But then, in terms of like what I want to do with my Chinese, I do at some point want to live and work in China. I don't know where exactly, like ideally either Hong Kong or Shanghai. But I mean, I had hoped to move out there at some point, either last year or this year, but now like everything is kind of up in the air. So yeah, wait and see. And also like I have graduated, I'm like full-time working now, so I would have to find like a job out there if I wanted to do that. So that's a complication.
And I know that it's also pretty hard for foreigners to find work in China as well. Like English teacher is a easier route. Personally, I'm not a good English teacher, so I am finding like a different kind of job, or I have found one already. I'm not telling you guys until later. I'm like giving myself away here.
This is not exercise anymore.
Moving on. I was gonna make some like great point or something, but I'm taking it back. I'm not continuing. Whatever. Oh my goodness, we have so many questions.
Oh my gosh, wait, I can't see any of them, but you go.
That's okay. I'll be pulling them up. Okay, no worries. Okay, so Theodora has a question. Hello guys, you are such an inspiration for all of us. Oh my God, look at that. Look at that. We're getting flattered today.
I'm like blushing. I'm really glad that my screen is really red. But like,
I'm like, oh my God, guys. So thank you both for everything you do for this community. Where can I find a study buddy that is a similar level that I am? Oh, this is a really good question. I have some things to say about this, but I'll let you go first.
Oh, okay. That's a really good question because actually, like, I found loads of my study friends that I currently study with online, which is funny because I do group classes. So you kind of think like, oh, they would be my study friends, but like actually, it kind of depends on like who you click with, et cetera, et cetera. And like, I found loads of people through Instagram. And that was like one of the, reasons why I wanted to continue my Instagram after like my year challenge. But I met so many people, and like, it's just a matter of engaging with people on social media. If you see someone whose post you like, or whose comments or whatever you like, you engage with them, like reach out to them, say like, hey, I like your whatever, and like just start chatting. And then like it's through chatting and interacting with people that I found like who I clicked with. I got added to various groups of like other people, so I got to meet other people's friends, all online. And then eventually I like fell in with this like study group that became like my regular Saturday study group. So I actually just did a study session before this live with them, and it was so nice. And it's just like nice to have like a regular group of people that you go to every time. And like none of us are even studying the same languages. I mean, some of us are, but like most of them are studying Korean. Some of them are studying Japanese. I am obviously studying Chinese. A couple of them are studying Chinese, but like as their second or third language, like their focus is Korean or whatever. So like, but even then it's just fine. It's like, it's just nice to have someone to study with. So it doesn't even necessarily have to be someone whose like language you are learning as well. But if you want to find someone who's a similar level to you, either join group classes, which is what I did, or, you know, just, yeah, find people online, like by chatting to them, and you'll see.
Exactly. And that's kind of what I've been trying to do. I've seen your Instagram stories, and let me tell you, like, this girl, all she does is she posts about all of these amazing experiences, always online or like at a cafe and like with these group chats. And I was like, I literally, do you remember I messaged you and I was like, hello, can I come in? Like, can I join? I'm like, I can't watch anymore. I need to be involved somehow. So I was like, hello.
I know. I'm like, I get loads of like questions like that often though, because it's like, because I get it. Like people are curious, and it's like, how does this happen? And like before I joined Instagram, I was like, I don't understand how people are meeting people through Instagram. like it just didn't make sense to me. Yeah. But actually, that was actually one of the things I wanted to do starting this year, was to hold my own like study groups and stuff, because so many people ask. So I did want to start like Chinese study groups, and I told you as well, and then I failed to do it in December because I was just busy. So January is when I'm going to start hosting study group sessions, if you want to follow me.
You let me know when you're hosting them. I'm coming. Honestly, accountability is so hard sometimes. So when you have like a study group or study buddies, honestly, like even Theodora makes a good point, and like just looking for a study buddy is a really good start. So yeah, for me, I think like that's really good to have a study buddy. But like the first thing that clicked into my head, I was like, language partners.
I know. Well, that's the other thing. Like before Corona, I could go out and, you know, do language exchanges online, in person even, and like that's like completely stopped now. And that was like one of the best ways for me to like practice speaking, because it was meeting people who I didn't know, who I had to use Chinese with, because it was in the Chinese environment and everyone was there for that reason. So it was so great. And like once that stopped, I was like, great, now what? And like there are apps like Hello Talk or Tandem that you can do, you know, you can do language exchanges with, but I find it harder than, you know, if I'm seeing people face to face, or if I don't know, I find those apps kind of harder than, and less organic, I guess, less natural than meeting people through Instagram and then talking to them. Yeah. That's what
I definitely get you. I like the concept of having a language partner, because you can practice speaking, even if they're like, because they might be learning English or something, right? And so like maybe they're on the same level as you that way, or like if they're worse than you in like, if they're learning English and their English is worse than my Chinese, then that's almost more helpful for like me, because I have to use Chinese to communicate some certain ideas and stuff. And I just think it's really helpful. I don't know, but yeah, I think in terms of study buddies, there's multiple ways where either they're learning the same language as you, or they're learning the opposite, but they can speak the language that you're learning. So yeah, that answers your question, Theodora, because that's a good question and a really good point. Also, there's some people inside of the chat that say, like this video. Yeah, do that. Oh. Go like the video as well. It's nice.
Give it a thumbs up.
Oh my goodness, we have so many questions. Oh, you are letting some secrets out. We are letting some secrets. Oh my gosh. Okay, there's so many questions. Holy moly. Let's do some like spitfire. We can answer these questions super fast and stuff. I think that would be pretty good. Okay, this one. Okay, this is a question for me. But I know you're not learning HSK system, Jen. But what level HSK do you think you are right now? I am definitely a confident level 4 speaking, I would say, but like a level 5. I've been studying for that kind of vibe. It's so around there. I'm like maybe I'm a confident level 3 speaker. I don't
know. Way. You are like, I would have put you at like HSK 5 level speaking. Like honestly, every time I see your videos, I'm like, how do you just come out with that?
I have a secret. So you know how I speak Chinese in my videos? I'm telling you, the reason why it might look okay and like sound really good is because I edit them.
No, okay, but even then, you can tell where the cuts are, and there are not that many. Your speaking is so good. Like there will be, okay, this is another fangirl moment, but there are days when literally when I'm like, my brain is not in Chinese mode, it is fully in English mode, and I need to switch it to Chinese. And the best way for me to actually do that is literally by watching your videos, or like watching videos of like somebody of a similar level to you, because you're like I'd say like at least one level higher than me, but like you're not native speaking. So for me, like your Chinese is clearer than a lot of native speakers to hear. And like then I can focus on the grammar and the sentence structure and how you make your sentences better than if I was like listening to a Chinese person speaking at like a native pace. And that like helps my brain switch into Chinese mode so well. Like listening to somebody whose like level is higher than mine, but like not so much higher that it's like pointless too.
Oh, that's really interesting. I feel the same way whenever I watch people like speaking Chinese, like foreigners speaking Chinese too. I really like it. Like it's really almost comfortable to me because it's really clear. They probably learned in a similar way. So like their structures and everything is very similar, but maybe they know some extra vocabularies or like their confidence even. It just kind of like gives a bit of a boost. So yeah, I'm glad that like you say that you've seen my videos and it does that for you too, because I'm like, sometimes I'm like, do I want to speak Chinese today? I'm like, I'm so tired.
No, honestly, please make more. Like it helps me so much. Like from a selfish point of view, I'm like, please do them for me.
I love that. Honestly, like it can be so hard sometimes because when you're making videos and stuff, like I put them on the internet, and you probably feel the same maybe sometimes whenever you put things on the internet. It's like you don't always see anybody else's reaction. You don't know if it's helping anyone. Like I put it out and people might watch it or whatever, but I don't know, is it helpful? Is it like good? Like, is it even good? Like, does anybody care? I don't see people's reactions. So that's why I also love this live stream, because we can go through things.
Yeah.
There's a fun person here in the chat. I don't know what this is at all.
Well, we can try.
Is this, so the point is that are all of these pronounced zhong or no?
Well, isn't it hua?
Like zhong, hua, zhong, zhong, zhong.
That's like, is that like one of those tongue twisters or whatever, where they're like, the only difference is like,
does that character have another way that you can say it?
Oh no, it must do. Like the yin hang one, the one that's like
yin and hang. Like the sing and hung and what.
I cannot do that. Like I get the concept, but I'm like, I don't know.
It's like, for me, it's so hard when you see one character and it has two different ways to pronounce it. I can understand le and liao. That one's the one probably, I think. Or like there's some other ones, you know, depending on what other characters are put with it. But you put this in front of me, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Is it like Theum Polim? You put this in front of me and I cannot, I don't know.
We're like, we don't know. This is just a complete confidence destroyer.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's that's a hard one. Okay.
Bring up another one.
I know, I'm like, let's escape that question. Okay, let's do this one. Biggest challenge in Chinese. Let's answer it quick and move on to the next. Okay, so my biggest challenge is motivation and speaking, especially motivation to speak. That's probably the hardest thing, because it's like I'm not in the environment, so it's almost like losing motivation. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, mine is speaking, not so much motivation, because the reason it's not motivation is because I did start. No, it's like I started Chinese for 3 months before I went to China. I did it really intensively. Then I went to China, and then once I came back, I was like, I'm gonna learn Chinese, or I'm gonna continue learning Chinese. But I went to university, didn't do it during university, started working, etc. And then I was like, years down the line, I was like, why didn't I just continue it? So because I'm so annoyed at myself for not continuing it, that's where like my whole motivation is like stemmed from. So I don't lack motivation. Like every day I'm like, I should have done this earlier. But like in terms of like challenges, speaking for sure, just because I'm not in like a Chinese speaking environment, and it's so easy to not speak Chinese. I can go to Chinatown and just speak English and it's fine. So yeah.
Nice. See, that's so easy. Like in my city, there's like nowhere where I can speak Chinese, especially now because of lockdown. So it's like the only way I can speak Chinese is through my videos, and that's why like I think my speaking has gone down, because I actually haven't spoken with a Chinese person for like a year and a half since I went to China. Like, so it's, I don't know, it's so hard. Oh my gosh.
I wish my Chinese is like
what's Danai's Insta? But I'm gonna put it up here.
Thank you.
Go follow her, go see all of her amazing posts. Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and make my Instagram more like varied now that I don't have to post every day. Because towards the end of last year, when it was like the end of my 365-day challenge, I was so tired and so like worn out, and I was just like every post looked the same, and I was like, I just need to get through this. But like now that that's done, hopefully I can post more interesting things.
I love everything that you post. I think that like it's honestly inspiring. Like whenever I see you post, I'm like, gosh darn, I need to study something today.
I feel like all of my posts are just me complaining about like why my Chinese is bad, or like just how tired and unmotivated I am. Like, oh, I don't want to study Chinese today, but
I know, but like I feel like it feels good. Like once you actually force yourself to do it. I
yeah.
found recently my most favorite study method has. Oh my god, I wish I was at home right now, because if I was at home, I would have showed you like my study book or whatever. Because of this new study method, I know like people talk about it all the time, but it's basically watching a Netflix show with the app called Language Learning with Netflix, so that you can have like the pinyin, you can have the character, and you can have the English, and you can make it stop after every subtitle. So whenever it says something like, I don't know, it says some kind of word, phrase, whatever, and then it stops. I repeat it so I get some kind of speaking, and I'll write down any interesting phrases. So I've learned like a few interesting phrases for sure. I would have told you guys, but I don't have my notebook with me yet because I didn't restudy them. But there's one phrase that like always sticks in my head, and it's like I don't want to hear any excuses anymore, and like it just sticks in my head all the time because of this show. So I don't know. Yeah,
that is great. No, LLM, the like language learning with Netflix, is the best thing I discovered. Like it was so good. You can obviously, because it's got so many other languages as well, like it's really cool. So like sometimes last year I was like, oh, my French is going really downhill because like I only do Chinese these days, and so I just like did it with Chinese and French to like get the French in. But like yeah, it's so useful. It's such a good way of learning it. I think like Blondie in China, I think she did that as well. She like did a video of how she was studying it, and it was pretty much the same thing where she would like watch a TV show and then write the words that she didn't know when she got to the end of the page. That's why she'd stop and she'd just watch the rest of the show, normally. But it's such a useful tool. And they have it for YouTube as well, but it's just not as good.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, well, that's interesting. I feel like, I love language learning with, like, it's literally the best. There's so many people inside of the comments right now. They're also saying, like, I also use language learning with Netflix. And there's like, yes, language learning extension on Netflix. And like, but everybody agrees. It's such a good way to do it. Oh, we haven't answered. This does have two different pronunciations.
Oh, okay.
I only know
one.
one.
What's the other one? Yeah. Are we looking it up? Or
I don't know. Are you looking it up?
Tell us.
Tell us. Okay, we have, what materials do you use to study? Certain textbooks, videos, websites, etc. Personally, because I studied in university, we had to use textbooks, and I think that using a textbook is honestly extremely helpful, because what we did, like the concept of my class, was we would read a few questions before we studied a lesson. We would talk about it in class, and then we would read the textbook dialogue, or like the textbook paragraphs or whatever. And then we would talk about it some more. We had to make sure we knew the words beforehand. So that was honestly motivating, because you come to class and you don't want to look like you don't know anything. So you have to study beforehand. You have to. So let me tell you, that works for me.
Peer pressure is definitely like the best motivator.
I know, it's like literally every time that I have a class or something, I'm like, I don't want to look bad. I don't want to fail. Even when I was in China, like I took classes in China, and in these classes, like they were the really intensive, like studying or whatever. So it was 4 hours a day. And when we were doing it, we had to study like a new chapter every day. And I was like, there's like 50 new words per day. I was like, I don't remember all of them now. Absolutely not. Because it's like, you're going too fast, right? But I'm like, I don't want to look stupid in class. So every day I was studying like an extra 2 to 3 hours on top of the class. So it's like almost 7 hours of Chinese a day. My gosh.
That is intense.
But yeah, textbooks, I love them. They're great. But other than that, shows and music. That's my.
Music is a great one as well. So me, like definitely like textbooks, like you said, like I find them so useful. Like I've seen people who say, oh, they're dry and they're boring or whatever, which I kind of half get. Like they're not the most exciting way of learning. But at the same time, I'm like, if I didn't have a textbook and I had to individually look up every grammar point for myself online, like that would take forever. Like textbooks just condense everything. And like, there's so much like work that's put into a textbook, and the people who write it are such experts that it's like explained usually in a really good way if you've got a good one. It's just like so accessible and so easy and like condensed. So I use textbooks as like my base level. So like I use the HSK ones, but that's just because my Chinese school does it, uses those. I think I would use like integrated Chinese or like New Practical Chinese or whatever if I didn't have to. Is that what you use?
Integrated Chinese? Man, Wang Peng and Leo. Most dramatic love story of the decade.
Oh my god.
So like literally this textbook, for me, I learned it for 2 years, like the integrated Chinese. So that's 4 textbooks. And throughout these textbooks, you basically there's like a love triangle, there's like a love quadrilateral, some kind of shape. There's like so many things, and like there's amazing characters, and then you're like, why are you like this? And like there's so many questions you have for these characters, and you just you grow and learn with them. And like there's even videos that you can find on YouTube that go along with the textbook. And dang, guys, like this is like crazy. It's nuts.
I finished these textbooks. Oh my god.
Honestly, I loved it. Everybody was looking forward to the love story of Wang Peng and Leo. Like we were all, and then some other girl comes in and she's like, and then there's the other guy, like what is the name? Like Gao Wenzhong or something, right?
I mean, I never followed them. I just like knew that they were good from like what people have told me.
Oh.
Well, no, I'm missing out. I'm
really passionate about this, and turns out you didn't even know.
You're just going off on your own tangent. And I'm like,
what are you guys all about this love story?
The rest of us are just sitting there like, are you okay?
Everyone's like, Jen, hello? Come back to reality?
I've got a question. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Okay, bring up another one.
Sorry, guys. Oh my goodness. I feel like I'm spamming the chat. Don't worry. It's fine.
No, honestly. Okay, also hi. I also can't see any comments. I thought I would be able to, but I actually can't.
I thought you would be able to too. I don't know why you can't.
Yeah, but no, don't worry.
For if we do this again next time, then I'll make sure you can. But I'll just keep popping them up. How do you feel about flashcards?
Love them.
Me too. I love them. Literally, like I had stacks and stacks when I was studying the HSK5 vocabulary. I wrote down every vocabulary word, and I would go through like a page of the vocabulary, like one every 2 days, and it would be like this big, and I would just try to memorize them. So intense, but love them. Love them.
That's like one of the things that I feel sad about not being HSK1 anymore, was that I used to be able, like, if HSK1, there's only 100 words, so you can have them on physical flashcards and be like, you know, go through them, and it was like, great, done all of that level. Whereas like now there's way too many, and I'm like, I have to use digital ones. I can sometimes use, for the ones that I really don't know and that I really struggle with, I do sometimes write them physically. But yeah, like I miss having like the actual flashcards. But no, honestly, love flashcards. I think I need them to like review, and like I use Anki and Pleco flashcards for reviews. But
I love people who like take the initiative to do this online. I'm that person. I still make them physically. I like
that though.
If you saw how many flashcards I have at home, you would literally think I'm crazy. My entire summer last summer was literally every day writing down at least 50 flashcards. Like I would be writing, and then on top of that, I have to review. Yeah, it was a lot. I'm getting hot. I'm getting heated now because of this
flashcard memory
sweater. I know. What is this? Hold on. It's really hot in this Airbnb. Okay. We keep getting comments asking us if we can talk in Chinese, by the way.
Oh my god. We can try, but like my Chinese spoken sucks. It's like HSK3 if that, like probably less.
Okay, 我们可以试一下好吗？
Okay.
Okay. 但是我们讨论什么话题呢？
我不知道，你应该like bring up 一个问题，因为我
OK， 我们可以回答一个问题。OK， 那我先找到一个。Oh，
How many years in Chinese? Okay. 那我2年前开始学习中文，可是我1年前开始我的 Instagram， 所以
哇，我觉得我已经学习中文大概3年了。
哦，
我觉得，
三
呀，
到大学，你在大学开始学习中文吗？
对，在大学开始。Yes。Oh my god! Look at us， 我们说中文，你们开心吗？
可是我要联系。
我也要联系，很久没有说中文了，太难了。Oh my god. Okay. Oh, look at us. We're getting flattered. We have claps.
Like it's like that meme where it's just like you say ni hao and the Chinese person's like, oh, 你的中文太好了, and you're like, thank
We're
you.
like, yes. Feels so good. Oh my God, do we need a translator? Oh, I guess we spoke in Chinese. So if you don't speak, I started learning Chinese about 3 years ago. And Danai has been learning for about, what'd you say, 2 years?
I said 2 years, yeah.
2 years. Yeah.
I kind of write off the first year though, because I literally only did like 2 hours of Chinese class a week for like the first year. And
You're so good. You're so good.
I started.
That's crazy. That's so good. Oh, we have a question. Why not learn another language? Why only Chinese?
That's actually a good one, because I know quite a lot of people who learn like so many languages at the same time. And that sounds awesome to me, but also like, I feel like I'm so frustrated at myself for not having learned Chinese earlier that I'm like, I want to progress now as quickly as I possibly can. And like, obviously, if you learn more than one language at the same time, you don't progress as quickly because you have to divide your time between the two of them. Right. So like for me, I'm just like, I want to dedicate so much time, like already, because I work now and I'm not at university and I'm not studying Chinese full time. I'm like, already I feel like I don't have the amount of time that I want to dedicate to Chinese. So I'm like, no, I want to give so much more to Chinese than I already can do. So that's why I don't currently learn any other languages. But I do think like I might start soon in the future, because I want to kind of get to a solid level of Chinese, like HSK 5. Then once I'm there, then I'm thinking like once I'm there, I can start learning another language.
What other language do you want to learn?
Oh my God, so many. I think like my priorities would be Cantonese,
right,
Korean, and Shanghainese. So this would be like the top 3. But I also, I mean, I want to learn loads. And I feel like Shanghainese I would only do once I'm like in Shanghai, because I honestly have no idea how you would learn it like abroad.
That's very true. I think for myself, like I started learning Chinese because I'm a business student and I thought that Chinese would be really helpful for business. And even the future, I feel like I'm going to keep giving away what I'm going to be doing, but the job that I'm going to be doing is also in business. So I think that it's going to be really helpful in the future for sure. So I want to get to a point where I can speak fluently, but like on a business level, I think that would be really good. So also I'm not good at learning languages. Like I actually like,
You're so good. Are you kidding?
No, I can promise you that. I'm really not. Nope. But like, especially if you saw me in person, like, nope. But
no, your like videos speak for themselves. Like honestly, every time I'm like, oh.
They're edited. Listen.
No, but there's like one cut per like 5 minutes.
That's hilarious. No, but I want to learn so many, like I want to learn Korean so badly. Like my one friend is fluent in Korean. She started learning it in university. Honestly, she's incredible. And like sometimes she teaches me like some things, like she's like, let's go, and she goes, that's kaja, and I'm like, kaja. And I'm like, yeah, it's so good. But yeah,
there's so much Korean culture that I consume that I'm like, oh, I would love to be able to like learn Korean because of that. Because I watch like way more K-dramas than I do C-dramas. I listen to like more Korean music than I do Chinese music, like which is kind of like counterintuitive, because you would want me to like learn Chinese through like stuff that I watch.
I get that so hard. Like I think when it comes to K-dramas, I have forced myself not to watch a single K-drama. Because I tell myself, the second I watch a K-drama, I know that I'm going to want to learn Korean and I'm going to start that day. So I tell myself, no, Jen, you need to get better in Chinese first. And then once you're fluent, like once you've maybe lived in China for like a year or 2, then you can start learning Korean. And I want to learn it. So it's such a cute language. Like it's just adorable.
It's so cute.
Oh, I love it.
Actually, was it? I think it was you actually who posted this video about things that you like about Chinese, and like that was one of the things that like made me like so thankful to you as well, was that you were like, cute things in Chinese, and I was like, what are there that are cute in Chinese? Like this is not Korean, what are you on about? Chinese is such a like difficult language, nothing cute about Chinese. And you were like, how they end like sentences in la or ya or whatever, and I'm like, oh, that is actually really cute.
It is, right? That's my favorite part of learning the language, actually. It's like the like I don't know, like you can just add the ya or something at the end, or like la. Like even some people say howdy.
Yeah.
So cute. I'm like, it's adorable. I love it. I love it.
I was really happy when you said that. I was like, oh, it is cute.
You can have a comment like Korean. I wouldn't say Korean is a cute language. I don't know. To me, it sounds cute. I mean, but that's, I don't know. Maybe
I think it is a personal thing because I've heard people say they don't like how Cantonese sounds, and I'm like, what are you on about? It is so pretty. So yeah, I think it is like dependent on who you are and like.
Definitely. I do know that Autumn, who's inside of the chat, she even mentions here, keep not watching K-dramas. So Autumn literally posted on her Instagram, like, what was it, yesterday, I think, that she finally gave into learning Korean. She's been talking about trying to learn it for so long, and she was like, I'm not going to learn it. Not yet. Not yet. Super stubborn. But then she caved. She caved.
It's got such a huge cultural influence, like Chinese doesn't. And I'm like waiting for China's to explode at some point. But like until then, I'm like, come on.
Oh, exactly. Oh my god. Oh my god. And then, Kate, listen though, like, you know how like China sometimes does the same concept of like reality shows or something that they did in Korea. I think okay. I just need to express my love for Chingchun Yoni. Okay. So have you seen that show?
No, I have not. What is it? Is it on Netflix or is it on Viki or something?
It's on like, you can find it on YouTube. You can find it on iQIYI. And it is my absolute favorite Chinese show ever. So the English name is Youth with You. So it's the same thing as like Produce 101, I think, where like they have like 100 guys or girls and they're competing to become into a 9-member girl group or boy group. So that's how it works in.
Wait, is this the one with Lisa?
Yeah. No, listen here. Okay, the new season. I'm looking straight at the camera because this listen. Okay, so the new season is coming out soon. They just announced to the judges. Lisa is a judge again. We have a lovely rap star as the what's it called? As the rapping mentor. And then we also have like another singing mentor that was on the first season. Anyway, I'm getting too passionate. It's absolutely stunning and I can't wait. So,
I watched so much of that show, but like not in like episode format. I just watched like clips that people had put up on YouTube because of Lisa. And I was like, I don't know why I didn't think of watching the whole show, but honestly, like that was great. That was so good.
I'm obsessed. Like the only thing is like I was watching the last season last year when I had finals. And these episodes are like 3 hours long. Or like 2 hours long, and I'm like, what am I doing with myself? But I'm like, but this is so good, and like you learn so much Chinese that's like regularly spoken, because like they're real people. It's not a script, right? They're not reading a script, so it's so funny. Like people in that show are just hilarious, so I love it.
That's the thing that I feel like is so great about watching like TV shows is like even if you don't learn it with the language, like learning with Netflix, even if you literally just listen to it, if it's a good show and you like binge it like you would binge like English shows, you're listening and you're like Chinese will just, it comes so much quicker. So like I'm like binging this show called The Longest Day in Chang'an, which is like a period drama. Like it's really good, but it's like the language is ridiculous. I'm not learning anything from it because it's so like archaic and so, you know, formal because it is set in like the Tang Dynasty. And I'm binging it and I'm like, I'm learning nothing, but it's still like helping me somehow because I'm like, you know, like it's like getting used to learning, like listening to Chinese a lot. Whereas, yeah, I wouldn't be able to.
Oh my God, I love that so much. I think like it with those kind of things, even if it just helps your listening, that's okay. Like I feel honestly like over the past year and a half that I haven't been in China, my listening has improved so much just because of the amount of Chinese shows I watch and the music like listening to, you know? Yeah, so anyway, that's kind of that's kind of it. Little fangirl moment for us about TV shows.
Can I ask you a question that I have been? Oh, we'll answer this one and then we'll.
Yes. Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna type it Yomi, and I'll type in the English. And you can. I'm typing it in the chat, so we'll give it a second.
Okay.
Yeah, and oh yeah, something.
Sorry.
Okay. Oh, and somebody also mentions they like the singing show Jessie J was on, and I think that one's just called Singer. That one is good.
I don't know that one.
That's honestly, I'm gonna send you some videos that I found on there. There's one that gives me so many chills. Like basically, it's just like people performing. Jessie J was on it as well. Like it's like this Chinese show, right? And Jessie J shows up, and everyone's like, "Whoa!" That was awesome.
No, I'm definitely gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch the like Youth with You one as well.
You have to. You have to. That one is unreal.
I will.
I'm watching it. Like this is something like we can even write down vocabulary, and you and me can like meet up and we can study it again or something. Like, you know, like we can study off this, okay?
Let's study battles.
Oh my god. Okay, what is your question?
My question was about your song. I had a whole ton of questions about your song, but I wanted to firstly ask, where did the idea come from for creating it? Was it because you wanted to practice Chinese, or was it because you were like, oh, I want to make a song, or like I've got this tune in my head, or I was just wondering what the thought process was behind it.
Oh my god, this is actually a really good question. So fun fact, before I did anything Chinese, my Instagram was dedicated to music. So I actually I used to do covers, I used to write songs all the time actually. And like that was just what I did. And then I started like doing other things, and then I started learning Chinese. So I started like posting about Chinese because I was learning about it. I was traveling there, so I just thought I would start posting about that, and it did really well and I enjoyed it a lot. So I did that. But then I started missing like singing and stuff. I was like, oh my god, like I want to do something. So I thought it would be a cool challenge for a video to do like a challenge on writing a song within like one day in Chinese. So I challenged myself to do it. So I did it not within one day. It was just writing a Chinese song. But I ended up doing it within one day anyway.
Crazy. It's a short amount of time. I feel like it would take me like years to write a normal song in Chinese or in English, where it's like, let alone in Chinese.
I have no idea how it happened, but like I had some chords in my mind. I just started playing them, and then like for me, I just start thinking about a melody or something. So I was like playing, and I was like, na, 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 na. And I was like, that sounds kind of cool or something. So I started to like think about it, and I tried to make it very different. But then a lot of people told me it sounds really like not Chinese. Like you can definitely tell it wasn't a Chinese person who wrote it.
Really?
Like, because the grammar sucked. I didn't check it with anyone.
Honestly, I couldn't tell. I was like, oh, okay, cool. But wait, why did they tell you why they thought it was not a Chinese, like why it didn't sound like a Chinese song? Because that's so interesting.
I think it's because the melody sounded more Western. Like it's not like your traditional Chinese song sound. Kind of. I mean, that makes sense. Also, somebody says, is it 对我来说? Yes, it is. It's 对我来说, or according to me. If you guys want to find it, it is on Spotify, and it is on Chinese. What is it called? It's like Wang Yiyun.
Oh, I don't know.
It's like the Chinese. It's on Apple Music, iTunes, whatever. So it's everywhere if you guys want to find it. Yeah, you can look up According to Me or Jen Tomsky, whatever. Anyway.
So when you posted it on, because I'm assuming you posted it on Chinese social media as well as Western, did you get like, what was the response like on China from like Chinese people?
Ooh, I mean, people thought it was cute, you know? They were like, look at this little foreign girl. Look at her writing Chinese song. They're like, LOL. They thought it was cute, I think, but like, I mean, it's not like it did, oh my god, like it's amazing. But no, like, I mean, it was chill. Kind of the same response. I'm like, I'm so happy with it though. Like my goal was kind of to just put out something. Like it was kind of spontaneous and random. And then it turns out that like, honestly, it was really helping people and motivating people. Like I got so many messages after that, and people were like, wow, Jen, like, I can't believe you did that. Like, that's so motivating. And I was like, that really? That's cool. That's cool. Honestly, like, that's what makes me so happy, like, to be part of this kind of community, because it's not only that, but like, I get so motivated from other people. So by being able to kind of like, to know that it's going the other way around too, it's just really nice, you know? So
yeah.
I
think it's really nice how everyone's like, so encouraging about like you learning a language, or like if you pick up another language or whatever. Like I've seen people who are like, oh, I've just decided to drop this language and start this one. Everyone's like, great, go for it. And like everyone's so like genuinely rooting for you to do like the best you can in that language, which I find so like so motivating. And like part of the reason why I have studied Chinese so much is because I had that like 1 year challenge, and I was like publicly like held to account. But like the other side of it was that I like just genuinely enjoyed learning with other people and like interacting and like seeing how many other people I could meet and what doors like learning Chinese could open that I had no idea about before. So yeah, such a great community.
It really is. And like, I guess that just makes me want to thank everybody who's also in the chat right now. Like honestly, having you guys here and like just talking about culture with you and just having a discussion, it makes us both so happy. Like you guys have no idea. Like maybe we're the ones on your screen, but we see you guys too. And it makes us so happy to know that you guys are supporting and being here and also interested in the same things. Like this is our community. This is us. Like it's not just like, I don't know. It's like we're all in this together. I always get chills. I get sappy and then I get chills.
No, honestly, like I'm like, I hope people don't get bored of me saying thank you, but genuinely, like that's all I can do. I'm like, thank you so much.
I know. It's like, what else can I do for you guys? Like, like, is there anything I can do to you for? I don't know. Okay. But there's a question. Where can I see the music video? Is it on Jen's channel? Yes, it is. It's just called like, I don't know. I can't even remember. It's called like 对我来说, according to me. And then it's like official music video or something. So yeah, you can find it there.
That's a nice video.
You can watch it later. That's hilarious. But yeah.
It is such a nice video. Oh, I also wanted to ask you, how did you go about like recording it and putting it together and stuff like as a video? Because like, I'm assuming you didn't just like sit and record yourself in your room playing the guitar. Like there was other elements to it.
Yeah, so that's another really good question, actually. So basically, like for the first video, it was just a challenge, right? And I was like, I'm just going to write a song. So I did. And then the response was really good on that video. Mm-hmm. And people were like, you should record this. Like, can I add this to my Spotify? And I was like, are you serious? Like it? And whatever. And that was really nice. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna. So it honestly is a long process, right? Like the process of recording a song. Luckily, I have a really good friend who he does music. So he helped me out with it. And he added extra instruments. Like I played the guitar, but he added everything else, you know, like he added all of these like sprinkles, whatever. And it like, for me, it was just like, and all I did was I added my voice. I added harmonies. I added some oohs and ahs. And then he did the magic, you know, so he took care of all of it. He made it sound so pretty. So I'm really thankful for that. But after that, I had another friend who's actually still sleeping behind me. Like she's in that room over there. She helped me film the music video. Which is amazing. She's getting into videography as well. So it was kind of a fun challenge for both of us because we got to make a music video. I edited it, of course, and I don't know, it was just fun. It was a nice challenge. We had to plan out so many things. There was a lot of hiccups along the way, but it was rewarding. And it's nice to know like, whoa, like I got a song on Spotify. What the heck? Yeah, it's fun.
It's so cool. And I was just like, but yeah.
I have questions for you quickly. Ooh. I wanted to talk about traveling. So I wanted to hear, so like you've been to China a while ago. So I want to know like, why did you go and like what inspired you to learn Chinese in the first place? Was it that trip? Like kind of tell us all about like the beginnings.
So I have only been to China, once in my life. And that was in 2012, which is like so long ago now. And it's like time's gone by really quickly, but like, and I remember it so vividly that I like forget how long ago it was, but it was a really long time ago. And I went because I took a year out after school before uni. So I had like 1 year off and I was wanting to travel, but I was like, I don't want to just travel for the sake of traveling. Like I want to get something out of this year that can, you know, go on my CV and that is useful to me later on. So I was looking to do like internships abroad, basically. And I went through this like recruitment company. And initially I actually wasn't even like looking at China at all. I really wanted to go to India and then the internships that were available there just like didn't match what I wanted to do. And yeah, then I like looked at China as a second option because I was kind of going by what this like company was offering. And then I was like, oh, you know, my aunt's in China, that might make things easier or whatever. So I applied for the Chinese internships. I got one. And then I basically just flew out there for like a couple of months. So I was living in Shanghai for 2 months. And my aunt came and met me at the airport and like brought me to the house that I was staying, the apartment that I was staying at. So I wasn't actually living with her. I was like living with a bunch of other people who were also doing like short-term work placements in Shanghai. And like that was like my first time in China, but that was also my first time in Asia overall. And it was like my first time working. It was my first time like living on my own. And I was just like mind blown by this whole experience. And like Shanghai is just like on another level. Like it's like, it feels like it's the future. Like it's insane as a city. And I just remember being like blown away by it. And I did learn Chinese for 3 months before that. because I was like, oh, I should probably try and learn the language of the place I'm going to, even if it's just to like find my way around. And I really enjoyed learning it and stuff. But that is like 100, like literally just going to China was 100% what sparked my interest in it. Like I had no interest before that in China, like at all. So yeah, that was kind of why I started Chinese. But then I went to uni, like I said, I stopped learning Chinese. I started working, yada, 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 like years down the line. I was just like, that was stupid. I should have just continued Chinese when I had the chance. It would be so much better now. But yeah, so that's why I did Chinese. What was the other part of the question? I forgot.
I think you answered everything, so that's good. But like Shanghai, I have never been there, and I want to go so bad. Yeah, I didn't get the chance to go because like my trip was much shorter, I guess, and I didn't have the chance to. Like I could have, but I don't want to go there just for 3 or 4 days. Like if I'm gonna go, I want to spend like a month there. Like I feel like there's so many things you can do. And then we have a question quickly from Nata, I think. The best places to go in Shanghai. Like what were some of your favorite places?
Oh my God, that's really difficult because it's like, because it will have changed so much. Like I can't explain how quickly this like city changes. Like I remember going to this club once and I bumped into this Chinese woman who was like, I left China 2 months ago to do a short work thing in Hong Kong, and I've come back and I don't recognize this place. Like it changes so quickly. So like I won't know anything that's like, it will be a whole different city now. But there was this park that I went to that if you wake up really, really early, like I woke up at like 4:30 or 5 or something to go there. I think it's called like Fulin Park or something. I'll try and find the name. But it's like you go there, I think it's like in northern Shanghai, and they like everyone goes and like does Tai Chi, or like they just do like loads of different activities in this park really early in the morning. So you have all these mahjong tables where all these people gather around and play mahjong, and then like a different section of the park you have a place where people are doing Tai Chi. Then there's like another section where people are doing, what are those like yo-yo things called with the 2 sticks?
I don't remember, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but they do them like to like pro level. Like I wish I could explain, like they're like spinning them around doing like shapes and stuff. There's like people playing with swords, like real metal swords. Like there's like so much going on in that park, and like and yeah, I was just like, whoa. And then just like another thing that I loved was like just wandering around the streets. Honestly, like getting lost in Shanghai was the best, like not knowing where you're going, and just like I would start in like a place that I knew and then just like wander, and like it would be like,
oh my God, yes. That is good advice, because like that's also what I did too. Whenever I went to like a city, sometimes I would just hop on the subway, get off at a random stop, and then go and wander around that area. That was like my way of traveling around, and it was amazing. Honestly, highly recommend that kind of thing. I love that though. I'm excited for you to go to Shanghai again and see how it's changed and like see what's happened, and then hopefully, guys, you need to know she also has a YouTube channel, so that's also in the description.
Like a baby.
But like I'm just hoping, I'm like when you go back there, you should be vlogging a little bit.
I'm gonna film the whole thing. Oh my gosh, I want to go back so badly. But like I also feel like there will be so much, like I'm a bit worried because I have filmed like other trips that I've done in the past, and I'm worried that there'll be so much to film that I won't like post any of it. But no, I'm definitely gonna make a mental note to remember to do that.
Oh yeah, I'll be your motivation partner. You just let me know when you're doing it. I'll make sure you get things done.
Yeah, where is it?
Content. I'm so excited. Oh, see? Love your vlogs.
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry I can't see people's comments as you go along, so just like assume that I'm sending you all love. But like, thank you. Oh yeah, no, that was the other thing I wanted to say. There's like a photo that I took while I was in Shanghai that time, and it was from the UUN. Oh, UUN gardens are such a great place to go to. They're like these like, it's like old style gardens. I think it used to be old. It got demolished. They rebuilt it in the same style, so it's technically new. But anyway, they're really cool and fun to go to. And I remember my aunt took me to this like tea room that had access to the very top of the roofs of this building, and you could see right across Shanghai. So I have this photo of like the U Gardens with the like with Pudong, the like big like modern bit of Shanghai behind it, and like the Shanghai Tower that is now like one of the tallest in the world was literally like a baby, like it was like a stump. And like, so now that whole skyline has changed completely, and I'm like, oh my God, it'd be so cool to like see a different skyline even when I go there. Like that's how much it's changed.
Whoa, that's like a huge change. Oh my God, I can't wait for you to go. And when you go there, I'm gonna come, I'm gonna visit you. and you can come and visit me wherever I am.
I know.
Fun. It's going to be so good. I'm so excited already. Guys,
I'm so excited. I also wanted to ask you about your China experiences. Like, when have you gone there? Where have you gone? Because I saw your Shenzhen vlog, which was so cool. But I don't know if you've been like anywhere else, what your favorite places were, that kind of thing.
Oh my God, totally. Yeah, I've been to quite a few places. I'm actually really embarrassed of my previous vlogs because let's just say when I was vlogging, like travel vlogging, I didn't have like an audience. So all of my vlogs were like my face. Guys, look where I am. And stuff, and people in the comments now are like, we can't see anything. I'm like, guys, hello? Like the camera's like right here.
The like building sticking out your ear.
Exactly. But that's hilarious. But yeah, so I've been to like Zhuhai, which is south of China, really close to Guangzhou. So I've been to Guangzhou, Shenzhen. And then like, of course, Beijing. And then I went to Harbin and then a few cities around Harbin because that's where I was studying. So I studied in Harbin. And there was a bunch of like, I wanted to go to like all of the Dongbei provinces. So I went down to Shenyang and I went to Changchun. So yeah, kind of like that. Yeah. It's amazing. I love it.
How was it studying in Harbin?
Incredible. Like, I mean, of course it's hard because it was so intense, but Harbin itself is a beautiful city. It's more relaxed. So Harbin is actually known as my city's sister city. So our cities are very similar, actually. Like my city has a Harbin road and like Harbin has an Edmonton road.
That is so cool.
Hilarious. So like when I say they're sister cities, they're really close, you know?
Is that like why you studied in Harbin? Because you were like university ties, or was it just because that's so cool?
Yeah, my university has ties, so yeah. I want to say, I have to go now. Okay, that's okay. Thank you so much for coming. Yeah, understandable. It is really late there, so yes, go to sleep. Have a good night. See you next time. Goodbye. Love that. So, have you been to Kunming? No, not yet. Not yet. We'll go. I'm planning on it.
I was like recommended by somebody on Instagram once. This was like pre-COVID, and I was looking at doing like language, intensive language schools in China. What's that?
Was it the one at Yangshuo?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And they were like, Kunming is such a great place to study, and like it's got clear Chinese. You have to speak Chinese. Like, I remember going to Shanghai, and everyone before I arrived in Shanghai was like, oh, Shanghai is the Western city of China. Like, you'll be so at ease there. And I got there and I was like, there is nothing Western about this city. What are you on about? Like,
compared to everywhere else, it's the most Western.
Yeah, exactly. And then when I left Shanghai and like, cause I did like some like weekend trips out to like other places and I was like, oh, yes, it is.
All right. I get it now. That's so funny. Oh my God.
Yeah, like that was like what somebody told me once because I was looking at Shanghai language programs and they were like, oh, you know, Shanghai will be great, but like Kunming, you'll really be forced to speak Chinese. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah. I was actually talking to like some of the people who work there and I want to go there so bad too. But again, because I might be maybe working soon or something for a certain amount of time. I don't know.
Just maybe.
It's a maybe. I might be going later, but I'll probably still be going there at some point. But yeah, I think that would be incredible. It looks incredible, like with the mountains and the lakes there and stuff.
That was the other thing. I was like, it looks beautiful. Like, of course I want to go there.
Oh my God, it's so stunning. There's so many places I want to go to in China. Like, hopefully there's going to be a time where I can just like go all around China and just like vlog for everyone to see and stuff like that. Oh, that'd be so
I know there's so much of it as well. That was like the one thing that I realized. I was like, I remember actually when I went, so again, this was like, I was talking to my aunt and she brought out this like map of Shanghai and it was huge. It was like the size of like a big dining table. And she was like, this is where you'll be. This is where you'll be working. These are like the, you know, points for whatever. Like she was picking out places that I could go to. And I was like, oh, and so where is your apartment? She was like, oh no, this is central Shanghai. Like this isn't even, my apartment's not even on the map. And I was like, what? And then like she basically like showed me like an even bigger map of Shanghai and then like an even bigger map of like the region or something. And it was just like the scale of this country is like insane. Like there's so much to see.
No, it's nuts. Like even in one city, you could spend like a year and not have seen everything.
Yeah.
Like it's absolutely nuts. So, I mean, hopefully there's going to be a day where we can spend a long enough amount of time where we can like, you know, become a little bit of an expert of at least one city.
We're like, I know this district.
It's like, yeah, I know this one little part of this city. Expert. Ask me anything about it. That's fine. But Oh, it's so hard. People always ask for advice, right? Like sometimes I get people asking, where should I go? Like it's my first time going. Where should I go? And like, what should I do and stuff? And I'm like, I don't know. Like there's so many things. Like what do you want to see? Like what are you into? Like if you're into something, there's like you could go to a completely different area of China and go to different places, but like you can find anything there, technology wise, economic wise, like people wise. Like you'll find your amazing group of people. Like you'll find your favorite foods. Like totally.
Yeah, I would just say like don't hold yourself back in terms of like being worried about trying things or worried about speaking to people. Like you just have to kind of throw yourself in the deep end and like it's sink or swim. Like and you will swim, like it's fine. Like you will like find your way around and you will meet people and stuff. And like you just have to push yourself out of your comfort zone because that's when you have like the most fun, I feel like, is when you're like expanding your horizons.
Absolutely. Get on that subway, get off at a random stop. This is a metaphor now. Get off at a random stop and just live and just walk. So no matter what, just enjoy it and keep it.
Yeah. Like speak to people. Like if you buy a coffee at a cafe or something, just speak to the person or whatever. Like, I mean, obviously like read the room a bit as well. Like if they're like swamped, maybe like not that person.
You don't if they're busy. Yeah, have a conversation.
Yeah, just like wake up. And I found it so easy in Shanghai. Like I remember like I was in Xintiandi, which is this like tech district of Shanghai. And it's, again, like everything, absolutely insanely huge. Like it was massive. And I got out at the wrong station and the station goes under this like massive like crossroads of like different freeways and different like, 6-lane traffic everywhere. And like, it's impossible to like, you can't cross the street. So you have to go back into the subway station, walk for like a solid 5 to 10 minutes and then get out a different subway station exit to like get to wherever you want to go in Xintiandi. Like it's big, like it's so big. And I was obviously lost and I was like just literally standing there and this guy was like, do you want like help? Like, are you lost? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, okay, well, let me show you where to go. And I told him which shop I wanted to, and he was like, okay, let's go. And I didn't realize how long you had to walk there. So obviously like he was like taking me the whole way and it was like a solid like 5-minute walk. So we just got chatting and stuff. And like by the end I was like, that was really cool. Like it was Chinese practice. I got to meet someone new. I got to where I wanted to go. So yeah, like it was things like that. I like really like I still obviously remember it to this day, and it was like years ago.
Those kind of experiences are the best, honestly. It's like they're unexpected and they leave you with such an amazing feeling, and you've practiced, and like it's just, I don't know, heartwarming, I guess. I had something similar when I went to Bunxi to see water caves on north of China, and we spent the entire day with locals, completely unexpectedly. Like the entire day, we were forced to be with this local like girl and her mom, and yeah, like literally the whole day. It was incredible. And I won't ever forget it. They could not speak any English. So it was, yeah, I don't know. It's special because like, they're just so nice and like, I don't know. It's just amazing.
Yeah. That is it. Like, I remember like learning about Ruqing, like warm-heartedness or whatever. And like somebody saying like, this is like a Chinese characteristic. And I was like, honestly, it really is. Like, I know that like they have like a reputation of being like more blunt than like English people, at least, because we're so like reserved and like overly polite. And like there's like a lot more like bluntness and upfrontness in China, but like there's also so much like hospitality and like, welcomingness in Chinese people that I'm like, that's so nice. So yeah, it really makes the experience, and like just be open to try new things. And
that's like the biggest advice. Hey, it's just like, just be open, keep working hard, like learn the language, like keep like, I mean, if that's your goal anyway, go there, travel around and be open-minded. And like, then you have the best experience possible. I love that. Wow.
And I was literally like HSK 1 level. Like I only learned the language for like 3 months. So I was like, honestly, HSK 1 level. I could ask for directions, wouldn't necessarily understand what the directions were, but like, it was like my Chinese was basic. And even then, like, I think people appreciate it, even if you're not fluent, like how much, whatever Chinese you can give them. Like, even if you say like, thank you. And like just being able to open at least conversations like that was so like, yeah, people were like very, very welcoming and very like open for like trying to help me.
Exactly. Yeah. People are extremely, there's even some comments here too that say like, when I lived in China, my neighbors became like my family. And honestly, that's true. And like, I even lived with a host family too. Like the people are just so incredibly warm-hearted, and like, you really get to know people. Like they'll ask you questions because they're so curious, and like you grow to ask questions to them. And like, I don't know, like, it's just like, there's like some kind of bond that just happens between you and people there. And it happens so easily. Whereas like here, I wouldn't be able to get that. Like for me, even if I'm in like in class, you know, it takes me like a solid 2 weeks to form a bond with somebody and call them my friend. You know what I mean?
I definitely think there's like a much stronger like community feel in China than there is like here in like the West generally, but like in England especially, at least I don't know about Canada, but like in England we're so like closed in our own little boxes and individualistic and stuff, and like it's, you know, once you do form friendships and stuff, like you were tight, but like it's just breaking down that first barrier is like a lot harder than it is in like in China or in like other places that I've gone to.
Totally.
So like I'm half Greek, and like it's like I would say China's a lot more like similar to Greece in terms of like how you first approach people. Everyone's so much more open, whereas in England everyone's like very like very reserved, very like overly polite. Like,
oh my god, that's so funny. I actually like it's interesting to like kind of compare Chinese people to different places, because when I think about it, so my family is actually from Poland, so Eastern Europe, right? Now, when we think about, or like when I've seen like Chinese, like the way they converse, or like sometimes the way they parent or something, it's very similar to Eastern Europeans, I've noticed. And I think it's so funny. And I've had quite a few people agree with that. So like, I mean, I could be completely wrong still, but like based on my experience and what other people have told me too, that I don't know, I just think that's really funny how like Eastern makes sense. Like for example, Harbin is right next to Russia. So like,
yeah, there is like, I could see the similarities. Like I could see why it's similar, but
oh, totally. Oh my goodness. Okay, we've actually already been talking for like an hour and 15 minutes already. So it's been a while. So I feel like we've talked so much. If you guys have any more questions, you can ask us inside of the comment section, and then we'll make sure to answer them also, like whenever. So yeah, we honestly love seeing your guys' comments and like seeing you guys converse with us. It's extremely nice and it's motivating, and yeah, I appreciate all your support, and like I know
honestly it's so important. Every time I see it, like it means so much. It's so encouraging. It's so like it warms my heart every single time, and like I feel like I'm a bit of like a like broken like record by always saying it, but it's just being able to like see you guys encouraging me, it means so much, because it's like I'm not always like super motivated, and I'm always like, and like everyone else, like at some point I get discouraged by my Chinese or my progress or like what I can do with it and stuff, and just having you guys there is so nice to push me forward and know that I'm like not alone and like we're all kind of struggling in the same way and stuff. And yeah.
Exactly. I'm like, yeah, I think like the community that we have is honestly very special. So yeah, but I do want to mention that if you guys want to follow us on Instagram, these are our handles here. And then yeah, just give us a follow. And you can study with us, talk with us, questions, even in our DMs. Like, I don't know about you, but I always answer my DMs. I mean, well, I mean, as much as I can.
No, I know, I try to as well. It's like, it's what makes like social media so much fun, is like actually interacting with you guys. So yeah, please message.
Please message. So I guess that's it for the stream today. Thank you guys all so much for coming. Honestly, like again, big heart for you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Hope you guys have a great evening, great morning, whatever it is for you guys. As long as you're smiling, you're happy, you're working hard. Stay safe, stay healthy. And hopefully we'll see you guys again soon. This will be fun. So thank you.
Thank you for joining.
Bye, guys.